Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
Good to have you with us, everybody, here at noon. We are starting with a major announcement. The city of Detroit announcing crime statistics today, saying violent crime continues to decrease in the city. Just about an hour ago, Mayor Sheffield and Police Chief Todd Bettison dropping those latest statistics. Violent crime is down over 10% citywide, they say. Breaking it down even further, in 2025, homicides fell by almost 19% and non-fatal shootings by more than 26%. City leaders crediting a holistic approach to cutting crime.
Detroit once again has seen a drop in every major category of crime, which means fewer families are grieving, fewer lives are disrupted, and more families now can feel safe in their homes and their communities. I have always stated that I believe in a holistic and comprehensive approach to public safety that is rooted in both prevention and intervention. And while we have made progress, as our chief indicated, we know that the work is far from over. One life lost is far too many.
Now, despite the drops in the numbers of crimes, Detroit has still ranked in the top 5 for major cities in violent crime rate over the last few years. We'll wait and see how this latest drop affects those rankings. Live gavel-to-gavel coverage of the swearing in of Mayor Mary Sheffield and Detroit's city leaders. A new chapter for the city starting Friday at 10 on Local 4+. Michigan health officials are sounding the alarm about several infectious diseases on the rise across our state. It comes as flu activity hits its highest levels in more than 25 years. The state is seeing a spike in multiple diseases from flu and RSV to measles and whooping cough. Here's a map of the newest data from the CDC showing Michigan now in the worst tier of flu activity, one of 18 states categorized as very high, young children especially at risk, and you probably don't have to ask around too much to see how many folks are affected that you might even know. Schools already sending out alerts to parents, asking them to keep sick kids home until they're fully recovered.
Vaccine preventable diseases in Michigan right now, we are not talking about something that is theoretical. We are talking about real illnesses that are impacting our communities, our children, our families around the state. And just to give you a few examples of what we're seeing influenza increasing exponentially at the moment.
Doctors also say the flu sending children to the ER and ICU in high numbers. 8 kids have died this flu season alone. Doctors say getting vaccinated is crucial. It's the best way to protect our most vulnerable, especially our youngest. And they also say not too late to get this year's flu shot. Romulus police have yet to confirm if shots were actually fired at a middle school yesterday or if a man with a gun was just banging on the glass. No students were hurt when that man was arrested after trying to get inside Romulus Middle School. The superintendent said the district trains for situations like this, and security locked down the building before he got in there. We should be able to learn more about the man's motive and connection to the school when he's arraigned on charges. We are learning more about a death investigation in Ypsilanti. It all started around 2 a.m. Tuesday when Washtenaw County deputies tried to pull a van over for no plates or headlights, but the driver kept going until they crashed into a deputy's cruiser. Shortly after that crash, shots were fired. The suspect, who police say was armed with a shotgun, was killed. Still unclear if the suspect fired that weapon. Deputies say no one else was hurt in this. The U.S. has seized 2 sanctioned oil tankers in the Atlantic now, following a weeks-long chase on the high seas. We're learning brand new information about this second ship right now. But before we get to that, NBC's Alice Barr with the latest on Bella 1, the first ship the U.S. European Command posted about online.
We're tracking these developments as the U.S. has now seized another oil tanker, this time in the Atlantic, part of a blockade on sanctioned oil going in and out of Venezuela. The U.S. Coast Guard initially pursued this tanker off Venezuela's coast last month, setting off a weeks-long high seas chase. And it's one of a number of tankers operating in the area that recently changed their flags to Russia, a key Venezuelan ally. The Trump administration has been arguing that taking over Venezuela's oil industry hurts its allies as well. Russia, China, Iran, all American adversaries, with questions, of course, about how those countries will respond. Lots of questions coming from Capitol Hill today, where all lawmakers get the classified briefing they've been clamoring for since the U.S. captured and removed Venezuelan authoritarian leader Nicolas Maduro to stand trial on drug charges in the U.S. Many Democrats are questioning that motivation as President Trump ramps up focus on Venezuelan oil. The president also announcing that Venezuela will turn over 30 to 50 million barrels of oil to the U.S. to be sold at market price, and that President Trump would control the profits to benefit the people of both countries. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
All right, Alice. Shortly after the Bella 1 was seized, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem confirmed U.S. forces also took control of the tanker Sophia in the Caribbean. Noem says both ships are part of a massive ghost fleet, sanctioned vessels that are illegally transporting oil from Russia, Iran, and Venezuela. To Los Angeles now, where Nick Reiner is set to be arraigned in the stabbing deaths of his parents, director Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer Reiner. Last month, Nick Reiner made a brief first court appearance but did not enter a plea. NBC News reporting the 32-year-old was receiving treatment for a serious psychiatric disorder at the time of his parents' death. Prosecutors say he lived in his parents' guest house and had openly struggled with addiction, even co-writing a film about that. A Rochester Hills man has pleaded guilty now to charges involving a teenage girl he met online for sex. 22-year-old Valor Harrison used Instagram to contact a 15-year-old girl in July of last year and then tried to meet her for sex when he was arrested in August. Court records show he was not a first-time offender. Harrison will stay in jail until his sentencing on January 30th.